everybody, my name is Alice Osborn from Raleigh, North Carolina. I am so excited to be here at Tiny Stage Concerts, and I have many songs that are going to be from my last album, Searching for Paradise, and my new album, Skirts in the Snow. This song is called Never Take No Shortcuts, and it is the first song for my new album, Skirts in the Snow. And a little background, all the Skirts in the Snow songs are about the ill-fated Donner Party of 1846 to 47. They all have a persona, and the persona for this song is Virginia Reed. And her father was the leader of the Donner Party, even though his name's not Donner. His name's James Reed. But he took charge, and he told everyone they should take a shortcut. And that shortcut cost them the time that they needed to get over the mountains safely. And because they took the shortcut, it made them delayed 33 days. They lost resources, they lost their cattle, and the Donner Party happened. So I'll let Virginia tell the story. Never take no shortcuts, never drink up a tall lie, never be the last man, so hurry as fast as you can. Never take no shortcuts, never drink up a tall lie, never be the last man, so hurry as fast as you can. Daddy says the land can't wait, 'cause other folks will stake a claim. Daddy says we can't be late or we'll end up with pie on our face. We left everything behind us, Granny and the good spoons. But Daddy's making no friends when he says we must ration the food. Never take no shortcut, never drink up a tall lie, never be the last man, so hurry as fast as you can. Get going, you oxen, get going, you cows, get the wagons over that hill. Watch out, watch out, watch out, Daddy has to leave us, Daddy's tears won't dry. Daddy just killed a man, now they all want him to die. Oh, Daddy, take this horse, Daddy, take this bread, Daddy, take no shortcuts, the good road is just ahead. No, it wasn't easy, no, it wasn't fair. We nearly starved to death in the Donner Party affair. And that's 'cause we took a shortcut, we drank up a tall lie, we were the last men, and paradise was over the bend. But Daddy led an army, Daddy found some friends, Daddy walked up the mountain and we hugged him all over again. Thank God we all got through the crazy winter, we survived. Ma is smarter than Daddy ever knew. And oh yes sir, we're still alive. I said, yes sir, we're still alive. So what do we all learn here today? Never take no shortcuts, never drink up a tall lie, never be the last man, so hurry as fast as you can. One of my favorite writers is creator of The Twilight Zone, Rod Serling, and I wanted to put together verses that encapsulated a story of all my favorite Twilight Zone episodes. So we had the Gremlin one with William Shatner, we have The Living Doll with Telly Savalas, we have The Hitchhiker, we have Midnight Sun, and To Serve Man, How to Serve Man, one of my favorites. So I put those all together, and a few more sprinkled in. The Martians on Maple Street is another one, combined with what did it take, what guts did it take for Rod to write these stories that were very confrontational at the time during the McCarthy era, and at the end of it, about anti-Semitism, about anti-war, about how he felt about war. And if you know a little bit about his background, he was a paratrooper during World War II. He wanted to fight the Germans. He was Jewish, and he was mad that he was sent to the Philippines instead. And he should have died about 100 times over, but he did not. And I'm glad he didn't, because he gave us the gift of the Twilight Zone. And unfortunately, he died at only 50 years old. And there was a lot more stories I'm sure he wanted to tell us. So this song is called Radio Man, because Rod Serling got his practice at all the great writing by writing radio scripts, and then he got his big break from Lucille Ball. And here we go. I hear the stars crying somewhere in the Milky Way. Spaceship in a cornfield, a gremlin tears apart. Seats stuffed with hay. Escaping the living doll, I run up Maple Street. I see the Nazi on trial, the Martians chat. How history will repeat. And I once knew a radio man who wished he could fly. His voice choked with grief, never forget him. His friend shot dead in the sky. So let's run into the fire, holding our swords so high, shouting above the voices that tell us we can't even try. What are the monsters serving tonight on the Twilight Zone? A hearty meal of mankind past the salt. It's a trip into the unknown. Don't get too cold now in the midnight sun, and I believe you're going my way. Lend me some faith, another war's begun. And I once knew a radio man who wished he could fly. His voice choked with grief, never forget him. The friend shot dead in the sky. Let's run into the fire, holding our swords so high, shouting above the voices that tell us we can't even fly. And I once knew a radio man who wished he could fly so high. So this next song is called Are You Men from California or Do You Come from Heaven? And it's a Donner Party song from the point of view of the mothers of the Donner Party, and primarily Mrs. Murphy. Mrs. Murphy possibly said those very words, are you men from California or do you come from heaven? I mean, that's a song right there. And what I wanted to do was share the hope that the rescuers finally reached the Donner Party February 18th, 1847. They reached them, but there was a lot more work ahead and a lot more danger because only the strong could go. And a lot of kids are there without their parents because the parents are watching the younger ones that are still suffering at the camps. And also, when you're out there on the Sierra Nevada mountains, you're under a lot of exposure and bad things could happen. You could run out of food. You could run into a heavy weather situation. And I wanted to encapsulate all that in this song. Hope is like bread. What does it taste like? Huddled and dirty shells. Cheeks are sunken in, are you surprised? We haven't all died. Are you surprised? We haven't all died. And then Mrs. Murphy, she points to the dead, smiles and weakly says, are you men from California? Or do you come from heaven? Oh, relief is tough to come by. In 1847 we've been waiting so long for you, and birds won't sing, our hearts are dim. Can you scoop up a speck of life? Please help us. Whoa, whoa. It's too hard to cry. Ready the strong, faithful fight the snow, wrapped tight heads and toes. For the 90 miles, it's a long drive. Keep the kids alive. Now it's a long drive. Keep my kids alive. And then Mrs. Murphy, she smiles, points to and weakly says, are you men from California? Or do you come from heaven? It's another bitter morning. In 1847 we've been waiting so long for you, and birds won't sing, our hearts are dim. Can you scoop up a speck of life? Please help us. Whoa, whoa. It's too hard to cry. Whisper prayers, kiss the little ones. It's not over yet. See how they fly high from the herd. The clouds hang close. Who wants to live the most? Those clouds hang close. Who wants to live the most? She points to the dead and smiles and weakly says, are you men from California? Or do you come from heaven? Oh, it's another bitter morning in 1847. Goodbye, men, brave, sound and true. I can't sing, my heart is dim. I will lead up a speck of life. You can't help me. You can't help me. It's too late to cry. This next song is called When It Rains in the Valley. And there's a phenomenon in the Sacramento Valley and the Sierra Nevada mountains, which I felt was so pertinent to the whole Donner Party story. So when the folks who escape Donner Lake and they are desperate to get back to the mountains in order to save the rest of their families, because it takes a whole another process of a couple months to save everybody, is if it's very rainy in the valley, you know that it is snowing in the mountains. And it was a very, very rainy year because it was snowing like crazy in the mountains. And that still holds true today. So when I see it rain in Sacramento, I'm like, yay, there's snow in the Sierras, and that's good for the drought. That was not so good for the people who were still trapped in the mountains. And as soon as William Eddy was able to get himself together and start persuading folks to get back over to the mountains, he knew the great dangers. And the song is about, even though he is saved, there is still a lot more work to do. Don't cry, child. Please let me in. I'm not a fiend or a ghost, but I need bread and a bed for a while. Please don't stare. I'm not who I used to be. What I've seen I don't know, but I pray the darkness won't cover me. And we lost 8 brave souls over the inches, yards, and miles. And more will die if you don't ride tonight. There's no time to waste. I may be too late. When it rains in the valley, the mountains fill with snow. 33 days ago, we carried an axe, a gun, one blanket each. I may be a father without a family. I hear the birds, forget the pain for a while. I wanted to give up, but I thought if I don't make it, nobody will. And we lost 8 brave souls over the inches, yards, and miles. More will die if you don't ride tonight. There's no time to waste, and I may be too late. When it rains in the valley, the mountains fill with snow. Our only chance at rescue meant leaving you behind. I'm so sorry for what my dreams put you through. Oh, as soon as I can stand, I'm running back to you. 'Cause I know it rains in the valley, the mountains fill. We lost 8 brave souls over the inches, yards, and miles. More will die if you don't ride tonight. There's no time to waste. I may be too late, but when it rains in this valley, those mountains fill. When it rains in this valley, those mountains fill with snow. This song is High Noon, and it is a song from the Oscar-winning movie of 1952 starring Gary Cooper and the future Princess Grace of Monaco, and Beau and Jeff Bridges' father, Lloyd Bridges, among many talented actors and actresses of High Noon. But ostensibly, you may think that High Noon is a Western, but it's much, much more. It was a sort of a diatribe and a confrontational script against McCarthyism. One man fighting everybody else. And I was fascinated with that whole story. I watched the movie, and then I had to read the bio and absorb it. And what was really fascinating was one of my lines where Will says, "I'm not much of a hero." I wrote that, and then I saw the movie 2 years later after I wrote the song and had been playing it for a while, and he said those exact words. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I love channeling these kind of historical songs, and I had a lot of fun, even though this is a fictional song about one man's destiny and of doing the right thing. But I felt his pain, and I hope I did the song justice. After our wedding, I hung up my star. Now he's coming for me from afar. Lord, I put that man away. He's ready for his vengeance today. Hear that whistle blow. I'm not much of a hero. Stay with me, don't you leave. Say, what do you believe? I said, what do you believe? At high noon, oh, he's coming for me. At high noon, we'll be free. At high noon, come back to me, and we will leave this sorry town for some peace. At high noon. After our vows made out for the plains, turning us back cause you such pain. When the whole damn town runs, I'll stand up with my old gun. Oh, hear that whistle blow. I'm not much of a hero. Stay with me, don't you leave. Say, what do you believe? I said, what do you believe? At high noon, oh, he's coming for me. At high noon, we will be free. At high noon, oh, come back to me, and we will leave this sorry town. We will leave this sorry town for some peace. At high noon.